Hey everybody, it's me, Scott Topper with Visiting Santa Barbara. Today we're at Ganawaska Lotus Land in Montecito, California. Let's head inside. Hi, I'm Scott Topper, and welcome to Visiting Santa Barbara with Scott Topper. We're here at Ganawaska Lotus Land, and we're chatting with Rebecca Anderson. She's our Executive Director. Thanks for having us out.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
It's gorgeous out here at Lotus Land. How did Lotus Land even come about?
So Lotus Land is layers of history on top of one another. It started in the 1880s as a plant nursery with a man named Ralph Kenton Stevens, who came here and realized everything he planted grew. Okay. And so he would trade seeds with ship merchants from the harbor in Santa Barbara and collect these rare and exotic plants, many of which are still in the garden today, which is part of what makes it so special.
I see that. I mean, some of these trees are over 100 years old.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So unlike most botanic gardens that are newer, we have this history enveloping us, and you can really feel the difference. Then another family came in and bought the estate. They built everything you see behind us, the Reginald Johnson architecture. It's gorgeous example.
Absolutely gorgeous. And what year was this house built?
This was constructed in 1916. And adjacent to it, George Washington Smith, another really well-known architect, did this pavilion structure a little bit afterward. So
Okay.
1926.
Okay.
And after the family sold the property, the fourth owner, there was another owner just briefly in between, was Ganawaska.
Oh,
and
I see.
This is her namesake garden.
And that was in the 40s or the 50s?
She purchased the property in 41 with the intention of making it a spiritual retreat center.
Okay.
She was going to call it Tibet Land and have monks come and visit and study here. And after some time passed and the war started and it became clear that that wasn't going to be the outcome of this property, she renamed it Lotus Land and created layer upon layer of whimsical, magical gardens. And that's what we see today.
It's absolutely beautiful. So obviously she passed, and then now who owns Lotus Land now?
Lotus Land's a public charity, so no one owns Lotus Land. It's a community treasure, and it will only stay here with the community's support. So she passed away in 1984, and at that time she wanted to gift it. She actually talked about gifting it to the city of Santa Barbara. She ended up deciding, and her estate attorney, who's still involved to this day, made this as a foundation originally. And after some time passed, they, one, began to build out the garden as a public garden, and two, realized that a foundation wouldn't be able to accept gifts and that the garden would require philanthropy to exist.
Sure.
And so they changed it into a public charity, a 501c3,
Okay.
and ever since we've been operating as a public garden.
So as a public garden, what is it, 85, 87% of donations needed to run the facility?
Yeah, we're so different than most cultural institutions in that most cultural institutions like aquariums or zoos or museums rely on ticket sales. Well, part of what makes Lotus Land so special, we like to call it the most private public garden in the country, is that we have limited visitation. It's actually not by choice, it's because we're in a residential neighborhood.
Sure.
And so we have 15,000 visitors a year who can come to the garden, and then an additional 5,000 school children.
I see.
And so with that, we earn just a little sliver of our revenue from the gate, from admission.
Sure.
Yeah.
So tell me about the magic and the allure of Lotus Land. How do people find this place?
So Lotus Land, people say, is the best kept secret. It's not by design. We actually don't market at all. We have so much editorial coverage in lifestyle magazines, garden design magazines, horticultural journals.
And visitingsantabarbara.com.
And visitingsantabarbara.com that we are overwhelmed with requests for visitation. So people come by calling in for a reservation. We have a phone line reservation number, 805-969-9990.
Okay.
And you can book a ticket that way, or to visit lotusland.org, our website.
I see.
It's a treasure, and it's not like other botanic gardens, and we say that with pride because our creator was not like other botanic garden creators. She was a collector, and so what's so unique and different about Lotus Land is we have these themed gardens, 25 of them, and they're one to the next juxtaposed. So you're entering just an entire world of a plant collection that are very rare and significant in their own right. We're doing important plant conservation work, but the design is just incredible. And she called herself an enemy of the average.
An enemy of the average.
That was her self-proclaimed title. You wouldn't normally put something like a cactus in front of a home. It wasn't welcoming. People told her not to do it, and she was very clear on her vision. And she was an artist, and she did things, and afterward people complimented her. And now, of course, we're the leading garden design to follow because she was so ahead of her time and avant-garde.
All right, folks, now we're here at the Water Garden. Wow, this place is gorgeous, Rebecca.
Isn't this amazing?
Yeah.
So this is designed by George Washington Smith. And what was beautiful and unique about it is the center has what was a pristine swimming pool. And the outside are these naturalistic water garden pools. And when Madame Walska came to the property, of course, the swimming pool got a crack in it, started to leak. Instead of fixing it, she built a new swimming pool, and the fern garden created a whole other garden, and this became the lotus pond. So every summer between June and September, this is chock full of lotuses. It's really incredible.
Well, I guess I'm coming back in June, July, and August to check it out.
Come see us.
Now we're here at the Bee Garden. Tell us a little bit about the Bee Garden, Corey.
Well, it's called the Bee Garden because it was really designed to attract native bees.
Okay.
And there's about 105 species in just this area alone. All of California, there's 1,800 species of native bees.
Why are the bees so important to the garden?
Well, it turns out bees are the only insect that collects pollen and nectar and takes it back to their young.
Okay.
So they're the most important insect for pollination. A third of every bite of food you take is due to just bees.
Wow.
No other insect.
So if you took bees out of the whole situation, we wouldn't be eating any food.
We can starve.
All right, so remember, make sure you're kind to your bees.
We're in the insectary garden at Lotus Land. This is actually a model garden to show everyone out there that they can do this at their home. These are plants that attract beneficial insects.
What do you find to be the most amazing thing about Lotus Land?
Well, I like to think of it as art meets science, and then it's run on ecology.
And I'm hearing a lot of the birds around me. How do the birds affect Lotus Land?
That's a good question. Birds were almost an accident. We had birds, plenty of them, but when we started developing these insectary gardens, it turns out 96% of birds eat insects.
Okay.
So we ended up creating bird habitat too.
Okay.
So now we have more songbirds, birds of prey, we have many species of owls, and we really take care to make sure they have good nesting habitat.
Okay. And what about the fertilizer that you use here in the gardens? Is it organic?
Yeah, we use all organic fertilizer, and the reason we do that is because it doesn't pollute.
Okay.
Organic fertilizers don't end up in the creeks and finally in the ocean.
Okay.
They get tied up in the soil, and they work over a long period of time. So we're playing the long game. It takes a long time to break them down, and the actual soil microbes and the worms hold the nutrients so they don't leach into the creeks.
Okay.
So it's that stable, protect the land idea. These poppies are actually an accident. We didn't even plant these. This is typical of the miracles that happen at Lotus Land. A few seeds landed here, and now we have this gorgeous meadow of California poppies.
Wow, we're inside the lemon arbor right now. It's absolutely beautiful, Corey.
It is. This is one of our older architectural features. It's part of the whole citrus orchard, and it's just a lot of fun. We keep it pruned down just to get, and we get a big crop every year. All the trees are fantastically healthy.
And you can smell the lemons. You could actually smell everything going on here in this garden. It's overwhelming, actually.
The citrus is one of our oldest areas too.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Now we're in the Clivia bed here at Lotus Land. Absolutely gorgeous, Corey. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, the Clivia bed, it goes way back to, this is one of these large mass plantings, which is very signature Lotus Land. Blooms every year dependably. They're extremely tough, and they like the shade of these trees.
Yeah, I can feel the temperature difference. Boy, it makes a huge difference being shaded by these beautiful trees.
And it's very hard to find this kind of color for shade plants.
Now we're in the topiary garden. Absolutely gorgeous as well, Corey.
It is. These whimsical shapes are a lot of fun. You have the chess pieces, you got the seal, the lion, the giraffe,
I can't believe I'm seeing a bear, a massive bear. My 6-year-old son's gonna freak out when he sees this.
Well, they take a lot of pruning too. We have to keep those shapes just right, but there's a really neat framework inside, and it's just a labor of love keeping them going.
Yeah, wow, it's just beautiful, and that incredible clock. Corey, it looks like we're in the orchard, another beautiful place here at Lotus Land.
It is. It's a wonderful spot. This goes back to the original ranch layout. This orchard goes way back. We planted 21 new fruit trees this year alone. It's got every kind of fruit you can imagine: pears, apples, plums, peaches, nectarines, you name it, figs.
It's an entire farmer's market right here.
Basically, it's a farmer's market. And again, the food bank is a big recipient for a lot of this fruit produce. But what the difference now, and it's significant, is that we've turned it into a meadow.
Okay.
That's the big difference. And this is a great opportunity that many people can take advantage of with their properties.
Is this one of the more popular areas when people come through
Well,
Lotus
it's really
Land?
a backdrop for the main tours. They can see it from a distance.
Okay.
This is more just a historical place, but it serves as a beautiful insectary habitat for birds, beneficial insects, and then they go do their work in the formal gardens.
So the insects come here, and then they pollinate the formal gardens. So if it wasn't for this, the gardens wouldn't be as pretty as they are.
Exactly, pollinate and they protect.
Oh, how do they do that?
Well, some of these insects actually eat the bad bugs there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And tell me about the little babies that you planted all around here.
Oh, it's continual planting year-round pretty much. First thing is the native poppies, obviously, and the lupin and phacelia, the purples and blues and whatnot. Remember, a lot of these bees can only see the color blue.
Oh, really?
It's one of their main colors, yeah.
Okay.
But then there's other beautiful flowers coming up all the time. Some of them are summertime things like sunflowers in every color you can imagine. And even zinnias are actually good habitat flowers.
So you have different color sunflowers instead of just the yellows?
Oh, yeah, different colors all the time. You got reds and kind of burnt oranges and things. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So Scott, all these flowers here, pretty much in this area, are California native flowers. There's a few non-natives, the reds and non-native and the orange. But these are basically just seeds you scatter around. It couldn't be more cost effective. This phacelia, along with the poppy, they come up reliably, even with mulch. You don't have to clear the soil or anything. And the lupin does pretty good too. These are some volunteer hollyhocks here. Turns out these actually attract beneficial insects too. Literally, and this alyssum on the ground, the little whites, it's kind of a weed in a lot of gardens. It's actually beneficial habitat. There's a lot of beneficial insects that go to this alyssum too. So it's really just a bouquet of flowers, but these are all carefully selected, though. These all bring in beneficial insects and super important pollinators. And you can even see that yellow Ed Gedling there. It's a kind of an unusual lupin with a nice contrast with all this blue and reds and things. I just love that.
Yeah. Well, Corey, this has been absolutely an incredible opportunity to see Lotus Land behind the scenes and all the beautiful flowers and all the great work that you do here. So thanks for visiting Santa Barbara.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, thanks. Here we are with Kirsten Horneman, Special Events Manager right here at Lotus Land. We're in the Japanese garden. Wow, this is amazing.
Isn't it amazing? This is our new baby, newly renovated. As of 2019, we finished.
Okay.
And now we have special pavilions for yoga. We have meditation areas and the Miwatasu platform. So I'll show you all about the garden.
Tell you what, it is so zenful here. I could just feel my pulse coming down. I'm starting to feel really relaxed.
Absolutely, and you're not the first person to say that.
Yeah.
Most guests, when they first come in, they say, okay, we're really nervous, and then as soon as they exit the garden and get in the garden, you're in our sanctuary.
Yeah, I feel the zen. So you do a lot of special events here, huh?
We do special events here as well.
Okay.
So we can do workshops within the Japanese garden in particular. We've done demonstrations, tea demonstrations, and then we also have, I'll show you other gardens around that we also do special events, vow ceremonies.
Great.
All of it.
All right, well, let's head inside and check it out.
Definitely.
Now we're on the Lotus viewing deck. Wow, what an incredible view.
Isn't it? It's the heart of the garden. It's a gorgeous, newly renovated Lotus viewing deck.
Yeah, it's not how I remember it from years ago. It
No.
looks like things have changed a little bit.
Exactly. So we want to make this more accessible for all our guests that visit the garden. And also, you can't tell right now, but it is a Lotus viewing deck because it's usually surrounded by lotuses
I see.
as well, and water lilies and koi. And then you'll notice the pagodas and all the different lanterns around the garden with inscriptions. Those are our donors that helped us finish this garden that was newly renovated. So without them, we wouldn't have been able to do this.
And I understand that Lotus Land is mainly donor driven, correct?
Predominantly, of course, our visitors as well, but 100% nonprofit. So with our donors' assistance and of course our visitors and our fundraising events.
Okay.
That's how we survive.
And for your special events, do you have events right here on this deck?
We could, definitely. We've done private dinner parties for 6 to 8
Okay.
for some of our upper level donors,
Okay.
where we can have a catered event right here and have them enjoy this gorgeous view.
It's absolutely breathtaking. Where are we off to now?
So let's go to the Miwatasu.
All right, I'll follow you.
Something that we brought back with the unfortunate incident of the mudslides is that we wanted to remember it. Also, how strong this community is. So we have this rock here to symbolize the mudslides and how resilient we all are.
Where else are we going to go today?
Let's go to the Aloe Garden.
All right, I'll follow you there. It almost sounded like she said Olive Garden, but I don't think she did.
Go through the black bamboo forest.
So this is the Black Bamboo Forest,
Black
huh?
bamboo.
I've heard a lot about it.
It's gorgeous.
It's incredible.
It's black when it's new, and then as it gets older, it'll change over into the more blonde. And then that leads us to our aloe garden.
Oh, wow.
The aloes are in bloom in the winter here. So they're just finishing up, and it's this gorgeous coral color. In the aloe garden, we have aloes from all over the world.
All right, it looks like Kirsten has brought us to the Aloe Garden. This place is also just amazing and tranquil. Are those real clams over there?
These are real clamshells that Madame herself actually designed the fountains.
Okay.
This was her inspiration. She wanted to bring you, remember we were talking about every garden, she wants you to be brought to another part of the world almost.
Sure, sure.
So here we are under the sea.
Okay.
And we're also surrounded by aloes from Kenya and
I see one from
Africa.
Uganda over here.
Uganda. Yes.
Yeah. So what's the significance of all the aloe? Do you use it for medical research, or how does it tie into Lotus Land?
No particular tie to Lotus Land, just that it's amazing and that we wanted to educate the public on how amazing this plant is.
Yeah.
We know aloe, it's good for sunburns, but the different species and the different varieties from all over the world all have different medical reasons. There's some that cure cancer.
Yeah.
There's some that our curators have gone to Uganda and found a specific species and brought it back and cultivated it. And now they're teaching others how to do that as well to make sure that we can have this plant on our earth for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
One of the amazing things that we do here in Lotus Land is not just for visitors, but also curation. That's a big part of it, and
Okay.
educating the public. So here we have Queen of the Night, which has these amazing blooms that bloom in July that come out on a full moon that are the size of two of your hands together. And they're the most beautiful things. Since we're not here at night very often, it's a pretty rare thing that we get to see. But on the occasion that we are here at night and working an event, it's pretty spectacular.
Now we're in the upper bromeliad, according to all my research here at Lotus Land. Is that correct?
Very good, Scott. Yes,
Thanks.
we are.
Thanks.
We are in the upper bromeliad garden on the main lawn here at Lotus Land.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful, iconic spot, as you can see. Not only do you have the iconic estate behind us, but the mother oak tree that just seems to encompass the entire lawn. This is a beautiful spot for ceremonies.
Yeah.
We do vow renewals at this location, and then ceremony vow exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do a half-hour ceremony with an hour and a half in the garden to take photographs.
Okay.
It's a magical something just for their guests to wander the gardens as they're taking photos.
Or even just being right here.
Just being here
I would imagine
alone.
that the bride and groom or the vow renewal couple would stand right here, and then their guests would be all in front of us along
The
here.
couples are encompassed around the side. The bride can walk in either here or around the back of the house. And this is not the only, you have your choice of 12 gardens where you'd prefer to get married.
Sure.
This just seems to be the most popular, one because of the shade, but also because of the beautiful backdrop and all the dimensions and
It
the
is
sunset.
so
It's just-
picturesque with the
it's
beautiful
gorgeous.
cactus back there.
It's definitely one of my favorites, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I see the lower lawn area. Why don't we walk out there?
Sure.
And I bet you do a lot of corporate events out here.
We do, this is where we host our 500-person gala.
Now we made our way over to the Triton Fountain. Tell us about that.
Well, Triton and his band of mermen, I say protect the garden and keep an eye on things as guests are meandering through the garden.
Make sure that there's law and order during all
Yes.
your special events.
Yes, so he's my buddy.
Okay.
He makes sure everything's going smoothly.
Oh, he's doing a good job so far.
Yeah.
So tell us about this garden and where you do all the events and the difference between like the corporate events, the private events, etc.
Exactly. So you'll see our pavilion patio. It's off the main house. We reserve that area for maybe an enhanced tour or for a corporate event that wants to have a private luncheon. We also have a sunken drawing room that has all the bells and whistles for a private meeting. So those can be reserved. Lunch can be ordered and enjoyed on the private patio.
Okay.
Or on our main lawn, as you can see, it's such a gorgeous space. This is where we host our anywhere from 100 to 500 guest events.
I could see 500 people here easily.
Easy,
It's
easy.
sprawling.
100 people in the garden feels like about 20.
Okay.
So 37 acres, definitely a lot for guests to completely distance themselves and feel safe. Our Lotus Land Celebrates is our biggest fundraiser to support the garden, and that's in July. We picked July because that's when our lotus are in bloom.
Okay.
So that we have tables in the lawn decked to the nines.
Okay.
And like I said, it's our biggest fundraising event and really the gala of the year. Everyone from Montecito, LA, and beyond come to it. They love it.
And it's called what now?
This is Lotus Land Celebrates.
Okay, so, and besides Lotus Land Celebrates, what are some of the events over the years that you've hosted here at Lotus Land?
So each event, because we're a nonprofit, really hones into sponsorship of a program in particular. So Exceptional Plants is another one that's a big thing for us, and that's for the curation team, as we spoke about in the aloes. So they'll collect from different growers and donors in the area throughout the year amazing specimens of plants that the public is able to purchase.
Okay.
So we'll have about 100 tables down the lawn with more than 300 auction items that are private auction or silent auction rather. And that's a really, really fun event. And then we have a live auction for our bigger plants, and we're talking giant maple trees and euphorbias. And we get them delivered and installed into clients' homes.
Awesome. So you've been doing special events for a long time.
A while here, yes.
What do you like? What's the magic of Lotus Land that you share with your friends and family and talk to them about that fires you up the most?
Well, definitely besides it being just a gorgeous botanical estate, it's somewhere that, life celebrations, any of life celebrations are just heightened. If you have a picnic on our lawn or come to our main gala or just have a simple tour, you'll realize what a special, special place it is.
Okay.
So now we're in the cactus garden, also known as the Dunlap Garden.
They're beautiful. And is this shale rock as well? Or?
This is actually slate.
Oh, it's slate. I just saw a moon cactus. There's so many different types of cactus out here.
Over 150 varieties in this garden
Amazing.
alone. And
Here's
you'll
one
see-
from Western Argentina.
Yep, all over the world.
Yeah.
And what's even more spectacular is this garden in particular, there's always a different cacti blooming. Whereas like the other gardens, maybe the aloe garden just blooms this month or that month.
Okay.
This one blooms all year round.
I could see
because
why.
all the different varieties of cacti bloom all different times of the year.
Now, where do these steps take us to?
So now we're gonna go up to the mesa, which is the lookout of the entire cactus garden.
Oh, great. And I would imagine this is another great place to do special events?
Absolutely.
Wow, look at
And
this view.
it has a 365-degree view of this gorgeous garden.
Amazing. Be a great place for events.
Definitely. It's small but mighty.
Yeah.
It overlooks the entire cactus garden, which is very private. You feel like you're again in another world.
Yeah.
It has bird's eye view of the entire garden, and it's private and full of sunshine.
Also, I don't feel as small as I was when I was down below
Yeah.
looking up at the 35-foot cacti. So
Yeah. It
I
gives
feel-
you some perspective.
it really does. And
Yeah.
it's really amazing how you make your way all the way across the garden and make your way up top here. It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
This has been a spot that guests have reserved.
Mhm.
They can reserve and say, we just want this as a private spot for maybe an engagement shoot
Okay.
or an vow renewal or a
Okay.
ceremony, or even if it's a small cocktail party. This
All
is
right.
somewhere we can also do a small cocktail party.
Oh, well, thank you so much for showing us around Lotus Land.
You're
And we had an
welcome.
amazing trip. Well, we covered a lot of ground today, as you know. And as you can see right here on the Lotus Land garden map, that's a lot of incredible experiences. Thanks for watching Visiting Santa Barbara with Scott Topper. Until next time.
Going behind the scenes.
Now the wind's kicking up. I can smell the lemons, and here comes the storm. Let's get out of here! Help us! Dinosaurs are chasing us!
Here we go. Hold on tight.
This is crazy! We're doing 60 miles an hour! Where are the brakes? There's no brakes!
And on the left, you will see
yes.
the water garden.
Oh, look at the water
On
garden.
the right is
Yes.
the main entrance to Lotus Land.
Oh, nice.
These are the main gates that guests come through.
Oh, nice.
And then they will come through here
Oh,
and then go to the kiosk.
oh my.
And then they will
These kiosks are just fantastic. I'll follow you there. It almost sounded like she said Olive Garden, but I don't think she did. I wish they had the royal crown on them.
And then here comes our visitor center.
Oh, where all the visitors center up.